Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Brothers and sisters, we are here. We want to discuss something very interesting for us all to hear about. And I'm Zaim Zamri, and I will be the interviewer for our guest. It will be very interesting, and I'm honored for us to discuss about something interesting and very personal towards your life. It's about the journey of how Dr. Ridwan enters Islam or converted to Islam. And I think you have shared this before, right, Doctor?
I've shared this many times, but I never put it on YouTube. So this was just like, okay, let's do it properly, put it on YouTube, and then
Alhamdulillah. So maybe there's one important question for maybe our friends and your followers to know is, what's the difference between this story of telling your story of converting to Islam and the others that you've done in the past?
So basically, every time I tell the story, I adjust it to the audience. Like if I have a little bit of time, I will just tell it very quickly. If I have a lot of time, I will tell it very, in more detail. But I think one thing that motivated me to do this session is I feel that this story is not just my story, but the process that everybody who is trying to discover Islam goes through. So whether you are non-Muslim or Muslim, you actually go through the same stages.
The same stages.
And the way I see it is there are three stages.
All right.
Waking up, and then searching for the truth. And then after you convert to Islam or you discover Islam, there's some lessons that you have to learn.
All right.
And like once you understand these three stages, it's like, alhamdulillah, it's easy.
Nice. So there's three stages as you mentioned. And these stages is not just limited towards a Muslim and converting to Islam and they go to the same three process, but if you're a Muslim or non-Muslim, the same process that you will go through, is it? Right. So I think this is not just limited to those non-Muslim friends who are maybe watching, but also whoever you are, Muslim or non-Muslim, I think we can benefit a lot from this storytelling that Dr. Ridwan is gonna share with us, and I'll be here asking him very, very intriguing questions for us to know about, inshallah. Okay, Doctor?
Okay.
So can we start?
Yes.
So Bismillah, we've already started, but so let's go on to the first phase. A little bit about your background and your biography before everything that we're going to discuss. Right?
So I was born in the UK.
Right.
My parents were non-Muslim. When I was small, they didn't talk about religion at all. It's just like it was up to us to figure out what we wanted to believe in.
Okay.
I was an agnostic, and that means that I didn't believe, but I did not believe. It's like, I don't know. Like, that's basically, I don't know. And one of the things that I think we talked about this a few times before this is some people have got the impression that when you don't believe in anything, you can do whatever you like.
Yeah.
Like there's no limits.
Freedom.
It's true. But I felt very frustrated because even though I was free to do whatever I wanted, there's no purpose to your life.
Hold on. So this is at what age of your life, Doctor?
So when I started thinking about my purpose of life, it was like 13, 14, 15.
Really? Wow. For me, that's quite of an early stage of. How do you go there?
One of the things is because so I was living at that time. I was living in the Netherlands.
Okay.
And I used to take a train to go to school. And next to the train station there was a big building, and so every day I would see people walk into the building, and then coming back from school, people going out of the building. And so I imagined that my life was going to be just my whole life going into a building, doing some work, going out of the building, going home, eat something, maybe watch TV, go to bed, wake up, same thing. Maybe a couple of weeks during the year, go on holiday. And in Europe, basically, that means you go to a beach and you lay down for 2 weeks, hoping to become brown. And it's like, if this is what you're going to do your whole life, it doesn't make any sense.
And you contemplated this at the age of 13 and 14 years old?
Yeah.
Oh, subhanAllah. For me, I've been amazed just by you sharing this, because I'm trying to compare your age of 13 and 14 towards maybe the youth here in Malaysia who are 30 and 14. I don't think that
Yeah,
the age of 13 and 14.
Okay,
so how do you develop that?
So basically, because you're born Muslim, you have already that framework
Maybe,
that
yeah.
you know, religion is there to kind of help you guide.
Mm-hmm.
I had nothing, and when you have nothing, it's like
The pressures.
no, it's not that there's pressure. It's like, so what am I supposed to do with my life?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I went through a stage where I tried alcohol. Because I was living in the Netherlands, access to drugs was very easy. So tried that. It didn't work. It didn't make me any happier. So in the end, it's like I was looking for, I wasn't really looking for a religion. I was looking for a purpose in life. And I tried whatever I could, and I couldn't find it. But alhamdulillah, when I went to university, I met some Malay friends,
Right.
and one of them, only one of them, gave dawah to me, and that was kind of the beginning of the process where I started thinking about Islam, and you know, slowly, I got attracted.
Interesting. So what was the main things that the friend of yours started preaching maybe towards
So
about Islam?
he wasn't necessarily talking about Islam. He was like, "Do you believe in God?" So more kind of general
conversation.
thing. But I think what I appreciated is, so kind of you have to understand that even though I was British, I've lived as a British outside of the UK for a long time. So my perspective was a little bit wider. When I started, when I went to university in the UK, I found that a lot of the British people were very narrow-minded. So actually, I was spending a lot of time with foreigners. And specifically, I had a lot of Malay friends. So I was playing football with them. We were having a lot of dinners together. So we were socializing a lot. And in that process of socializing, I was just making observations like, they would be praying, they would be fasting, they wouldn't be giving dawah, but they were basically living as Muslims. And I was confused because they were studying engineering, mechanical engineering, you know, electrical and electronics. I was like, how can you be studying science and also what I thought at that time was like old-fashioned, you know, religion, like I associated with the old-fashioned way of thinking.
Yeah.
So
Doesn't make sense to you at that time.
I was intrigued and
Okay.
and you know, kind of curious about these guys. And then one of them, alhamdulillah, invited me to Malaysia for the holidays.
Nice.
And again, when I went to Malaysia, I expected something, and then I found something completely different. So I
But
guess
that's the later on your path.
that was later on.
Yeah.
But I guess that, yeah, I was still looking for my purpose in life,
At that time.
and without that purpose in life, actually, you cannot be happy.